All right, greetings from the wasteland out here outside of Survival Pod. It's Freedomville. What's the topic? Something about this recent Mar-A-Lago incident with this individual showed up with a gas can and a shotgun, pretty much an assassination attempt or death by Secret Service. I don't know. There's just something about this case. You look at it, much like the Thomas Crook case, things just don't add up. And it leads me to wonder, is this a deep cover type of situation? Are these manufactured assassins? What's going on here? Yeah, Freedom Phil likes to subscribe. Let's get into it. Hey, turn up the video speed. By the way, if I upload this, watch it at 1.75. Like, subscribe. Let's get into this. So I'm seeing a little information come out about this guy, and it's like, they're like, he has basically no internet record. I'm like, I'm sorry. In the modern age, that just doesn't add up. And some people do that, but I call BS. There's no record on this guy. We don't know much about him. His family said he come from a family of Republicans, and he worked at a golf course or something like that, and blah blah blah. Somewhere in the Carolinas. Total Republican, and I'm calling bullshit on it. It's just I've lived by this ideal or this way of looking at the world for a long time. If you can't find in nature the example of what is your worst enemy when you need propaganda, you could just manufacture it. It's fucking way easy. In fact, it's easier to manufacture that than it is to actually organically get someone to spawn. It's like that. It's like one of those games where you have a point something chance that this particular monster that 100% drops this rare thing, but it's so rare that when it actually happens, most people don't even know what's going on. Because you look it up and you're like, oh, that was something important. Too bad I was too low level to take care of it. That's how low level these things usually are. And it's not to say that assassination attempts don't happen semi-regularly on presidents. It's just for a while there, they kind of swept them under the rug. I mean, there was a number of people that went after Obama. And I imagine there are a number of people who went after Bush, Clinton, and everybody else. It's just that usually the nutcases get it's either shot because they do something stupid, or they get put in a cell really quickly. But it just seems like with Thomas Crook, for example, and this recent guy in Mar-A-Lago, everything points towards, well, he was a good Christian, blah, 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 and he was obsessed about the Epstein files and blah, blah, blah. It's like, isn't that convenient? Like, it was so angry that I have to smite out evil. I don't buy it. I have a hard, I just look at it and I'm like, I just don't buy it. I look at it and think to myself, I'm like, it's too convenient. And the guy actually in his golf course he was working at before, or whatever country club or whatever it was in Carolina, he was trying to set up a union. And it's like, he failed doing that. And it's like, isn't that good interesting? People are like, what's that got to do with anything? I don't know a lot of Republicans that are really looking to set up unions. That's not a normal conservative thing. Does it seem interesting? It's like, that's where it looks like some of the mask could have fallen. And people say, could you really think that there's organizations out there that do the long game? You get a bunch of people ideologically, manufactured, converted, educated, propagandized to the point where, they might go out and do something because they think they'll be infamous. Well, if you don't think that's possible, go back to look at World War II. Kamikaze pilots were basically manufactured by the Japanese government. What makes you think there isn't people these days that are manufactured in the same way to, do things for whatever political bend or environmental or whatever reason? I mean, whether it's, hey, by the way, there's how many people out of the religion of peace that have blown themselves up or, thinking they're going to get 72 virgins, or at least they're going to usher in the better world that they'd like to see. At least they think it's a better world. Most people think it's a hell on earth. And let's go back to the 90s, the 80s, 90s, and, where you'd see crazy Christian groups doing this type of stuff too. For not a moment do I believe that it isn't beyond the realm of possibility. In fact, it's probably a good possibility that you got some deep cover people that are out there manufacturing these nutballs to go after Trump. And, I think one of the things that everybody's like, well, there's no social media information that says that and they'll find everything they want to do. But can you really believe social media When something as simple as a guy's background, I mean, how fucking hard would it be to chat GTP or whatever, a guy's entire life? Just the manufacturer, oh yeah, I put this post, and then have them time-stamped. And then say, well, we're pulling down their history. I mean, how fucking hard would that be? Just like, how hard would it be to erase someone's previous, if you've got someone who's a deep cover, what if the only interaction they're really getting online is really from other fake people purposely, and then when things go raw, when they go out there and try to do the deed, assassinate somebody or something, magically it all disappears. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me a bit. And part of the reason I say this is because you look at in a country, fuck that, a world where you got people with money and power that most people couldn't even fathom. And so in that case, if using a few useful idiots to go out there and achieve your objective through assassination, what's that mean to you? I mean, you'll see people where they're perfectly willing to completely destabilize other countries just to make a deal better work for them, for mining or banana plantations or all sorts of shit. So would it surprise me that if some of these nut jobs that are trying to assassinate people worldwide, if they're being manufactured? No, not at all. Wouldn't surprise me at all. All I'm saying is there's just something a little weird about this assassination attempt and Thomas Crook. And a lot of these guys, I've heard some people say, and I've actually ran into some people who go, I think he's going a bit too far. He's becoming an authoritarian and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, and then you look at these people and you're wondering, like, oh, are these the true patriot types? I don't know. A lot of people blow a lot of steam, blow a lot of smoke. But if it was me and I had to guess, I just look at it and like, there's no evidence for it. That's the thing about it. Like, it's no MK Ultra evidence out there that, we can manufacture. And they never, if there is, they'll never release it. It's that type of dark secret. But it wouldn't surprise me, considering some of the stuff you can get people to do. And then some people, after being drugged up and manipulated over the course of time, you got to wonder, I mean, even getting them into the water, the food, and all that shit. You program them, and you make them think they're going to be a hero or some shit. But if you think about it for a second, most people couldn't name the assassin that caused World War I. Just saying. How many countless lives were spent because of that? And most people couldn't even name it. They just, there was an assassin that took out, what was it, some royalty in Austrian-Hungarian Empire or some shit. Most people couldn't name the person. So it's funny because when I see these sort of situations where this happens, I think if that is like your goal, to basically, I did this thing and I was memorable. Well, guess what? Most of the people who did some sort of memorable thing, like take for instance 9/11. Everybody remembers Osama bin Laden. What about all the rest of them? Does anybody have any idea? Could you name the people, the rest of the guys that were involved in that? Nope. With the exception of the big players, nobody can name a thing. And that goes back to even a lot of the kamikaze pilots in World War II. Other than the fact that they were there and a few of them actually survived, nobody remembers their names. So if the objective is that you to do something, and maybe, who knows, maybe some of these people, let's say there's a shadowy organization or something, it's not even about being remembered, it's about just doing something while you're alive that mattered. I don't know. I just look at the whole situation when it comes to it. These random assassination attempts that seem to happen, and it just looks too convenient. Things just don't add up. So, I don't know. Like I said in the very beginning of this, just to end it, if you can't find the perfect example of something you want to point at, you just manufacture it. And not for a minute do I think that the powers that be, worldwide, greater powers that be, like, you think China wouldn't do it? Russia wouldn't do it? Hell, even the EU at times. You think they wouldn't stab us in the back? Just really think about it for a while, and you look at it and you're like, yeah, you get enough money, power, drugs, and some black operations, you could manufacture this shit. But who knows? Could just be a random nutball. Don't know. Freedom Phil, like it's described. Take it easy.